Welcome back to Sticks and Strings. I'm Naomi.
I'm Beth.
I'm Eve.
We look like 3 little Easter eggs. We never know what we're going to wear until we sit down and I look at the camera. I'm like, oh, okay. But it is, what is this? This is the first full weekend of June, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Second weekend. Well, yeah. June 1 was a Sunday, but...
No,
it was a Saturday.
Oh, I don't know. I never know. Happy second weekend of June. It feels like the last week of July here. It has been so hot.
Yeah.
And we're used to hot, but it's
not this soon.
Not this soon, not this fast. It's like,
and I understand that most of the Southwest is in a heat wave, but
right. But it was like we jumped to okay-ish spring, getting warm, and then bam, hot summer.
Right.
And it's not officially even summer yet, so we're but of course my office is a refrigerator.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I should dress for the weather or dress for the office or dress, because like I wear like my sandals and like some capri pants or something, right? Because it's warm out. And then I get in my office and my feet are like blocks of ice. And I'm like, I guess I should be wearing socks.
Keep slippers in your office.
One of my friends has like slipper socks in her desk. But I'm like, well, but if I wear long pants and socks and shoes, then I sit there going, my feet are hot. Like I'm never happy.
Or you drive home and close to a heat stroke.
I'm never happy, but that's life in Phoenix. I told Mark the other day, I started to say, every summer and he said, wonder why you live here. Thank you for finishing my sentences. Okay, down to business. I think you're going first?
Yes, I'm
okay.
first. So, I feel like I haven't done anything, but I mean, I've done a lot of stitching. I just, just on a few projects, I guess. Just 2 projects, 3 I don't know. Anyway,
she's gonna count them for you right now.
Yeah. So I started working on my cross stitch camp piece. I think I started actually on the 2nd of June because I had to still decide what I was doing or whatever. But anyway, so I'm doing this chart by Shakespeare's Peddler, Teresa Vanette, called Cats and Crowns, Antique Cats and Crowns. And so there's a bunch of cats and a bunch of crowns, and the word cats. And the word cats is done in rice stitches, and there's a little diagram
What's a rice stitch?
It's basically over 4 stitches. I haven't gotten to it yet.
Oh.
But they're like 4 stitches. You do 4 cross stitches, and then there's a big X that unites the 4.
I see.
And so, and I haven't really decided if I'm going to do the word cats in a different color or if do the rice stitches, do the big X in a different, I don't know. I hadn't thought about how I'll make it stand, or maybe I'll just do them, and see if the rice stitch aspect of it stands
Are you
out.
saying R-I-C-E?
Yeah.
Because to a knitter, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah. So, anyway, the challenge was to take a single color pattern and add a pop of color. And I've been looking at, other people have posted, some of them have already finished. And because
on the 3rd day?
Yeah, like even before that. Like the first one I saw was probably on the 3rd of June or something like that. But so, it was a small pattern and it was all in one color. And then they had the first one I saw was, I think, like a seagull and, seaside stuff, and then like a crab. And the crab, she'd done in one color, like in red, and everything else was like a bluish or grayish, color. Mm-hmm. And
I'm sorry, but finishing your cross-stitch camp in one day is like your parents saying you get to go to summer camp and they take you to a day camp down the street. Like, that's no fun. I thought camp was supposed to last a long time.
So anyway, I decided what to do, because this is charted like in brown. The color is jacaranda. It's kind of a brownish color. Jacaranda silk, Gloriana silk. And I'm not really into brown. So I did black, because I have I had black cats for a while, and the crowns I did in étoile, and it's a little hard to see on camera from a distance like this, but I'll take a picture of it. It's a little easier to see in person.
Looks pretty.
But I like it, but I realized that I'm not really into crowns. They're coming out nice, and I have to do a lot of them because in order to get to the cats, I have to do a lot of crowns. Yeah. And
I think if it was all one color, they don't stand out as much, and I think that's probably why you just didn't think about that when you saw the pattern. But I like it like that.
I think it's cute.
Yeah. It works fine and all that. But I just I'm like doing the crowns is kind of like I want to do the cats, But in order to get to the cats, I have to do the crowns. Yeah. But anyway, so but I think I'm also going to do at some point in the future, not for camp or anything like that, but do the companion one that I have. She did a whole bunch of these patterns. Like there's one with scissors and spools, and one with birds and bird cages, and all that.
While you were talking about the cats with the crowns, I thought about a cartoon I saw, and I don't remember where it was, of a king. The queen is sitting in her chair, and the king comes up to his chair.
I sent it to you.
Was it you?
Yeah.
Where there's two cats sitting there, and
she goes, they don't care who you are. They don't care.
They know you're king. They're not going to get out of your chair.
Yeah.
And I was like,
That is cat behavior in a nutshell.
So anyway, I want to do the bunnies and baskets sort of as a companion, to this, because I have,
Because you don't have anything against baskets?
No.
But you do
I do,
crowns.
but I want to do the bunnies.
Oh my gosh.
But anyway, so there's, like I said, there's a whole bunch in this series, and that I'm not really drawn to any of them, but I have the bunnies and baskets and cats and crowns. So, I'll eventually do the bunnies and baskets to go with it. But so anyway, that's coming along. I only did like, I think maybe 2 days or something on that. And I was alternating it with my one of my WIP-GO pulls, and which is my number 2 one that I had talked about, these tiny modernist patterns, Mouse's Lucky Day and Mouse's Beach Outing, and I did the Christmas decorating one, Mouse's Christmas decorating, I think back in February, I think for winter cross stitch camp. I think that's what how I did those. But I've had these for a while, and the Christmas one I finished like in the month of February, because it was a cross stitch camp piece, and it wasn't that much stitching. And Lucky Day and Beach Outing I started probably from Mania last year or something. But so they're not very big, and this is the Lucky Day one. And I was working on it. I thought, oh yeah, it's not 7 days on this and 7 days on the beach outing. It's 7 days on both of them. So I thought I better get the other ones, get going on the other one as well. But so this is almost done. There's a black hat right here, and then I haven't done the black on the. This is a blind mouse. So that I have to put the eye and the nose and the shoes on this mouse, along with the hat, and they're all coal is the called for color. They're all Weeks Dye Works colors except for the white, and then there's some white little, I don't know what they are supposed to be, little sparkles, little things, because they're not snowflakes, so I don't know what you would call them, but there's some little white things that I have to add. But the hat and the eyes and nose, and then I have to do the inside of this mouse's ear.
They're flowers.
Yeah, I have to do the inside of this mouse's ear, because I actually thought, I was doing the white on this apron, and I thought, oh, I'll just do the inside of the ear, and I put it down here accidentally instead of up here where the ear is, where the ear is supposed to go, because I hadn't put in the the head yet, and so I just sort of like accidentally went off of the. I put it, used the green instead of using the green of the hat. I used the green of the mouse's dress, whatever. And I also discovered that at some point, I guess when I was doing the hat, I made a mistake because I have the brim of the hat and the top of the hat are green, and they're supposed to be just one stitch apart because there's a black band that goes on this hat. And when I did it, for some reason, I left 2 spaces in there. Because when I was
big band.
when I was doing the ear, I realized because the ear is supposed to be smaller.
Oh.
But I just made the ear. I just adapted it. Made the ear a little bigger. He's got bigger ears. She's got bigger ears. And the hat has 2 black stripes instead of 1 black stripe.
You could put another stripe of green up on there.
Yeah, I could, but whatever. 2 black stripes didn't hurt anything. So other than those few little white things and the black, this is almost done basically. This pot for the pot of gold took for a freaking ever. It's just a lot of stitching. And then the other one is the beach outing. This is the one I've been working on now. I'm working on the little umbrella that the mouse has. And again, there's black. There's the little bit of black back stitching is the little stalks on the crab's eyes. And then there's like a handle for the umbrella that this mouse has. And I was a little bit worried at one point about this fabric because it's not very beachy, not very sandy, not very sunny, not very summery.
I think it's cute.
But the colors look really good on it.
I think it's really nice.
Yeah. So, this one I think, it's almost done. No, it's not. There's a whole big ocean thing down here. There's an anchor and a clam and a crab and not a crab, a fish. And
2 fish and a starfish.
Yeah.
I'm just now starting to notice all the red crabs everywhere. Like you said, a red crab is a dead crab.
Yeah.
They turn red when you cook them.
I know.
Yeah.
But everybody makes them that way. How
Yeah.
funny.
But because their real color's kind of ugly.
Yeah. But so I did finish the little beach hut and this, the fence and the flowers and stuff there and the crab. I finished the crab. And so, so it's coming on. And I have I started it last Saturday. I started the Lucky Day. And because I alternated between that and the Cats and Crowns, today is the 6th day and tomorrow is the 7th day. So I have 2 more days to work on this to meet the goal for the WIP-GO. And then I have, of course, till the end of the month to finish the Cats and Crowns. I'm going to work on that. And then my other WIP-GO pieces that I haven't started yet. So it's coming along very nicely. And that's it. That's all I've done this week is...
Can I go next?
These mice.
Okay. I put this piece up here because I did that for cross stitch camp in June. The first
so nice.
In June, I think so, June or July. And that is Twin Peak Primitives Coop Parade.
Is that last year or 2 years ago that you did it?
2 years ago. And I finished it on something I found at Hobby Lobby,
I was wondering, did you paint that? Or was
I
it
don't
already
think so.
done?
I think it was already black. And the jute was already on it and all that. The thing is, a lot of the stuff...
a jute hanger.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that you get... it doesn't have a sign. A lot of the stuff that you get to finish on, it's already got words or something on it. Just cover it up. So right now I am working on my WIP-GO, one of my WIP-GO calls for June. This is Phoenix Biscornu by Tiny Modernist. And the Tiny Modernist patterns I had purchased in the past were digital. but I saw this and I was looking for, I don't remember what, and I needed a cross stitch camp piece for August last year, and I've never done a biscornu, so it was something you'd never done. So I ordered it and I got it. I will never again buy one of these in paper. I prefer the digital pattern, and the reason being that for me the colors are too similar, and the icons I can't really see them. I have to blow them up and look at them magnified, and so I finally printed it larger.
Printed the biscornu pattern.
Yeah, look.
Yeah. How
See,
big is it normally? Oh. Oh my goodness.
yeah, and
It's like actual
look
size.
how you can't even tell by color. It's a color pattern, but the colors are so close to each other that it's like all one color.
Wow.
It might as well be a black and white pattern, and I can't even see. I have to like magnify it in order to be able to see what different icon is where, for the most part, not
and
all.
the icons are very similar as well.
Well, they're on the back. They're really not. It's just they look it.
This is like actual size, isn't it? Or even smaller than actual size.
It's smaller than actual size. This is actual size.
Oh, okay.
Almost. See?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, but that being said, I love it. This.
It's really
I thought
cool.
living in Phoenix, I needed to do a
I
Phoenix
think it's
one.
really cool.
And this fabric is 14 count. It's a DMC color and it's opal. And I thought it looked a lot like smoke for my smoky little phoenixes. So that's what I'm working on as I sit in front of me, and I have to do a lot of, even with blowing up
WIP-GO?
the thing. Yeah.
Good.
Even with blowing up the pattern, I have to do a lot of what is that symbol. So I'm working on that. And I just talked about, paper patterns, and I do have an issue sometimes. But this one, the symbols are clear and easy to read. So, and I don't have any real preference over digital or paper, but, however I get it is how I get it. So this is Hands-On Design Blueberry, and I just added a little bit more blue. Just starting to get more blueberries in there. I didn't work on it a lot because I was busy with my cross stitch camp piece. I first saw it in blue, and I think we showed the picture last week. Mm-hmm. But it's charted in black, and the chart doesn't have the designer's name anywhere on it. And I told myself to write it on the back of here, and of course I was too busy doing the pattern to do that. Because, and Etsy asks you to give comments on the patterns, and I have I have no problems whatsoever with pattern. They're easy to read. So I love this challenge. And she did say pop a color, but then she said, at least, she goes, you can put 2 colors or whatever. The pattern says, it's DMC black or something like that. And then it says, but choose whatever color you want to do it in. So I'm not really changing colors of the pattern. I'm doing what she said. Mm-hmm. Anyway, here's where I am so far. This is this is an overdyed thread. I think Classic Colorworks. And this is a Weeks Dye Works thread, this blue. But this teal and this orange are DMC colors. And I'm really happy with the way they look. And, you know, I just treated them like an overdyed and did one stitch at a time. And you really see...
This DMC variegated.
Mm-hmm. It isn't one of the regular variegated. They come wrapped in these little plastic things. And I don't think it says what kind it is. It says the color name, but it doesn't say anything else. Anyway, I was having so much fun doing this. I started it on the 1st, which was Saturday, and I just couldn't put it down. Mm-hmm. And then I said, you know what? I better work on something else. So I did a couple of days. I've done a couple of days so far on this Phoenix Biscornu. And then I did, like I said, a little bit on that.
It says
on
color,
that berry.
color variations. That's what they're technically called.
Yeah, well, they're different than the other variegated ones they have.
Yeah.
And they feel different too. Anyway, I spent most of yesterday, because it was so hot, my son has a job where he's outside. And I'm like, how can he do this? It's so hot. My phone said that it was 114. But when I pulled the temperatures from where I always get it from, it said 111. Mm-hmm. Okay, anything over 110, you really don't feel the difference. Mm-hmm. It's just nasty hot. But I decided to work on my temperature charts. So I did a little work on the flowers on the bottom of this, and I added, you know, more of the border on this side now. I'm, for lack of a better word, parking the threads rather than cutting them every time, because there's like one stitch here and one stitch there and one stitch there. And I'm just going to wait until I count over and have to use that again. So, because it's not a whole big old long distance. It's just, you know, very
the less
close.
counting, the better.
Well, yeah. Well, and also I don't want to cut it and have to start it again.
Right.
And all that. So, for instance, there's a yellow color that goes in the middle of this flower. And it's also in the middle of this flower. And it's also in the middle of a flower over here. And it's also, you know, and it's like one stitch at a time, several times. And I'm just like, I'm not going to cut the thread. That's just not going to happen. So then I had to spend a long time putting fins on last month's turtle. And then starting this turtle. And you can see by this turtle,
Oh my gosh.
I am already at the highest red color that they have.
Oh no.
Okay.
Are you going to add a different one?
I'm going to have to.
Yeah.
Because I figure over 115.
You should get a sparkly red for over 115. And all of July will be sparkly red.
Or I could mix it with a gray for smoke. Yeah, it's I told my pool guy he was coming to do a lot of extra stuff on my pool, and I said, be careful in the heat. I said, we're not used to it yet. Because every summer it's at hotter. It's just we didn't have any in between.
We didn't have a ramp up to
where your body starts getting used to being in the heat. Yeah, so that's all I've done.
That's all are you done?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, so this is what even Beth called the dog sweater.
It doesn't look like a dog sweater anymore. Well, it kind of does.
This is
It's a dog
called,
sweater for a bigger dog.
This is called Seltzer. I don't have my iPad with me, so I can't tell you the designer's name. But I'll put it here underneath. Oh yeah, I don't even have the picture because right now I don't need the pattern. I'm just going around and around. So this is the collar. It has open sleeves, so both shoulders are exposed. So it comes down like this, and then it has the bodice. And then after you get it long enough to kind of cover the bust area, then you start like a long rib. And I measured it. Here's photos on the Hannekin, as I call it. And I called her and asked her where, how long she wanted it. Because I know, like, if I made it the measurements in the pattern, it would go well past her hips. And I know she doesn't want it that long. So she kind of measured herself. And then here it is. This is before I started the ribbing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a nice length. And then I'll add,
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember now that we had this long discussion about, okay, so this much of the bodice and then this much of ribbing. I can't remember for a total of X, and I can't remember what I told her, but I'll just try it. I'll just keep trying it on till it looks good. So it's nice. It's coming along. When I got a little bit sick of this, I remember last week I said I'm going to go find some yarn to the yarn shop for Hannah's best friend's mom, right? And I messaged her on while I was at the yarn shop, and I laid out. I'll show you. I laid out all of these yarns. I'll show you guys too. I believe I saved it. Yeah. These were all the choices that I gave Jordan. Mm. And because she wanted something dark and subdued. And she chose, these are all Malabrigo sock yarns. And Malabrigo is just, I just love them. And she chose Potion, which is this nice, beautiful, it's almost black, basically. And you can see the stripes of color. Mm-hmm. Oh, I meant to bring my shawl. Here's a picture of my one and done shawl that I made in 2020. And that's the shawl I'm making. But I'm making it out of this beautiful dark. So eventually, so this is the start of it, and you keep knitting up like that, and you keep expanding it on both sides. And then eventually you knit across, and there's three knit stitches and 3 purl stitches, and you drop the center purl stitch and let it basically ravel all the way down, and it'll stop here at the end. And so that's what makes that lacy look in the shawl, which is a lot of fun. It's kind of fun to drop it and let it. You don't have to like lather it down all the way, but it is kind of fun to do that. Like, I mean, you don't have to do it right when when you're going across the row. You can take time and do it later. And then when you block it, it spreads it out, and so it'll be really pretty. So I started that as kind of like a brain break, and then I was like, okay, I need to get back to Hannah's sweater, because Hannah's sweater is almost done. And it's going fast because this red yarn is a worsted weight, so it goes very fast. And the shawl is fingering, but I'm just gonna make that as my like fun knitting. And this is all a break from Hannah's big sweater, which I feel bad about. I need to get back to. I just needed a break from that. So several weeks ago, I mentioned that I was going to start again, probably beginning of the year. I talked about starting the Master Hand Knitting program again from the Knitting Guild Association. And long ago, years ago, a couple of years ago, I decided to do this program. But when I was researching, when I heard about it, I went to the Knitting Guild Association's website and I researched it. One of the options, they have the Master Hand Knitting, they have the Tech Editing, and then they have the Professional Knitter certification. And they have a few other certifications as well, like a teaching one. And I first bought the hand knitting, and then I actually considered the Tech Editing one. And so it was like fits and starts with both of those, deciding if that's really, but what I had, even in those years ago, what I really wanted to do was the Professional Knitter certification. What that does is you don't have to do any research, but you basically are submitting work and getting feedback and improving your knitting skills, so that then once you get the certification, actually they have a whole website and they teach you how to market yourself as a professional knitter. And I really wanted to do that. But at the time, a few years ago, up until very recently, I would wake up every morning with my hands like lobster claws. I call them my lobster hands because I couldn't even bend my fingers. And it felt like it was getting worse and worse and worse. And I was like, I have no business even thinking about being a professional knitter. Oh, but anyway, what the professional knitter does is then they are hired by pattern writers, yarn companies, and publishers to create the models that go in the books or on the website or whatever. Somebody has to knit all those. And so as a professional, with the Professional Knitter certification and the fact that it's through the Knitting Guild Association, which is a national association and everything, companies go to them to find people. So so I thought to myself, I have no business even thinking about that because I don't know how much longer my hands are going to function. But then, so I was like, okay, I'll just do the hand knitters. I'll knit as long as I can. I'll do the, the Master Hand Knitter program, which is a 3-year thing and tons of research. It's like a doctorate, really. You have to write papers and all this stuff. And when you knit a swatch, you have to provide 2 forms of references for how to do cast on, how to do a knit stitch, how to do a purl stitch, and so you have to cite all those references, and it's very serious and kind of cool. But back in January, I think I mentioned that my diabetes diagnosis kind of took a turn, and I made the decision to really change my eating habits. And one of the things I did was cut out basically all processed sugar. And a few weeks later, I was thinking about everything else, and then I had this sort of realization that, it's been a while since I've woken up with stiff hands. And actually cutting just that out of my diet has completely changed. All my joints are better. And so the other day I was working on my Master Hand Knitting program, and I'm like, what I really want to do is a professional knitter. I've always wanted to do it. And now I think I actually have a future that I can think, because my hands aren't getting worse. They're actually normal now. And so it's really quite miraculous for me and was really eye-opening. But so I was talking to Mark, and I'm like, this is what I really want to do. And he's like, do it. So I bought the program, and here it is. Here's my instructions packet. I printed it out the other day.
Did you have to buy new ink after?
No, I went to FedEx and did it. I had a moment this long of going, I could just print it at work. But it's too many. It's like one of the assignment packets is 47 pages by itself, and some of it's in color. Anyway, so I went to FedEx and got it. It's so funny because Eli calls it Kinko's.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why do you call it? I said, you've never even you don't even remember when it was Kinko's. And he goes, because you call it Kinko's. I'm like, that's true. I can't call it FedEx office. First it was Kinko's, then it was FedEx Kinko's, and now it's just FedEx office. But those of us who love and remember Kinko's will always say Kinko's. Anyway, so I bought the professional knitter certification, and it's so funny. Okay, every time I talk about the Knitters Guild Association, Mark's like, "We represent the Knitters Guild." There's guilt. And this morning, when you do the professional knitter certification, from the very moment you sign up, you get a coach. Unlike the hand knitters, you're just on your own until you submit your notebook, and then it goes to a co-chair, and then they talk to you. But with the professional knitter certification, you get a coach right away. And my coach, I'm a little nervous about it, is Arenda Holiday, who is the executive director of the Knitters Guild Association. So when he was doing that this morning, I said, one of these days I'm going to meet Arenda Holiday. I said, and I'm going to tell her you do that. And he goes, and she's going to say, hello, Mark. He's so funny. He stomped his little foot. You want to be a part of the guild? Anyway, so he's so funny. So anyway, so I can't talk about this in front of him because he just starts the song. But as part of it, you have to do this, like, I wrote it out in my thing, but it's like swatches again, and then the first the project. So there's 3 modules. This is module 1, and you do, like, I think it's 19 swatches, different patterns. And you do it in different yarn weights. Like in the master hand knitting, it's all just medium weight yarn. You do all your swatches in the same yarn. Here, you have to do medium weight, like DK Sport, and then fingering, and you have to meet gauge for all of them. And then you get to also then you have a bunch of swatches that are different patterns, and you have to make sure you meet gauge in all of them. And then the project for the module is a sock, a stripy sock, which many of you know I love to knit socks. But this will be a hand knit sock, which I also like to do.
You've done that before.
I've done that before, and then you have to, like, it says in one of them, it says for the directions for one of the swatches, list 3 errors that were in the pattern. I'm like, oh, there's errors in a pattern you have to make, as you're making. So I'm like, do I knit it with the errors?
Or do you fix
Or
the
do
error?
I fix the errors and knit the
fix
swatch?
the errors.
So that's one of the questions I want to ask my coach.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
Noticing an error is it happens.
and how do you, and then they have photographs, and it says identify the problems in these photographs with this knitting, like it would be right here, like name 2 problem areas, and so the stitches are distorted here and that kind of thing. And I'm like, oh, spooky. And then so you do all this, you make this, you make all your swatches in your sock, and then you have to have gauge worksheets, and then that's all you have to do. You don't have to write a report or anything like that. And then you just and what's nice is they also give you pictures of all the swatches, so you have a reference. It's not like in the master hand knit, it's like you just have to guess. Like, you have to figure, there are people online who have posted their swatches, but this at least gives you a pictorial, reference. So it's like, if it doesn't look like that, make it again. So it's a lot different. I have a year to do module 1, and then you go on to the next module. And in the 3rd module, as I understand, it's really like a real-world experience. Second module, you make 2 baby sweaters. And this is very focused on time. So you have to make sure you schedule your time, make sure you turn everything in on time. And then the 3rd module is kind of like a real-world experience, where your coach acts as like a designer or whatever, asking you to do this and estimating time and cost and all those things. So I'm really kind of looking forward to it, So I have basically 3 years to do the 3 modules, and I'm like, maybe at that point I'll be ready to retire with my and just kind of do this at that point. So that is kind of exciting. So that's my new thing. And coupled with that announcement, which is like every other announcement I've ever done where I never do what I say I'm going to do, but this one I'm going to do. Anyway, this is what I've been wanting to do. But I also think that I'm going to start my YouTube channel finally, where I will talk about everything else I knit, but also this. And I have, starting next Friday, I have Friday afternoons off, thanks to the Phoenix Symphony is giving us all, we can work from home in the morning on Friday morning, and then we have the afternoon off, which is really nice. So I thought, well, that is a good time to start. However, on the 28th, I actually have to work on Friday afternoon because I have an event. But, so I think I was like, okay, next Friday will be, I'll have the afternoon to myself, and I will hopefully start. So next week I will announce when and where it will show up. But that's all I've been doing. So I'm done. But I have a funny story. It was a tragic story. My cat was on me yesterday morning. He always walks on me in the mornings, and he was standing here. His front feet were like here, his back feet was here, and something scared him. I don't know. I thought I heard a noise. I freaked out, and literally, like all the way across. Like I have 4 horrible red lines right here. And
I have a scar on one of my arms from a cat doing that.
Yeah. And I'm like, it wasn't like he maliciously hurt me, but I was like, I don't even know how I'm going to put a bra on and go to work tomorrow, that day, because I had to get up and go to work, and I'm like, oh. And I got to work, and the girls I work with were like, why'd you even come in? I would have been like, I'm staying home.
when Cyrano jumped up on my bed and accidentally hooked my eyelid with its claw.
I know. That's
I felt my eyelid go.
I still have a scar here from that one time he fell on my face a little while ago. I made notes because there was something I was going to talk.
Well, I remember when that happened.
Oh.
One of my coworkers in children's choir. She's like, "Did it poke your eyeball?" And I'm like, "Would I be here standing here with just a Band-Aid if it poked my eyeball
with my eye?" No, no. So we went to Costco last week, I guess. I don't remember what day it was. After work, and I was like, I'm gonna bring home. They have a meatloaf that you can make. Mm-hmm. I can't eat the mashed potatoes, but meatloaf is good, and the guys eat the mashed potatoes. So
cauliflower mashed potatoes taste real good.
Yeah, I know. I should get some, but I was at Costco. I'm like, I'll just have cucumbers, whatever on the side, and anyway. But it comes in a 2-pack. If you're familiar with Costco, it comes in a 2-sided thing. And it's it's in their like deli area. It's like one of their like pre-made things that they make, and then you heat them up. And so it has a meatloaf on one side, and then it has a thing of mashed potatoes on the other, and it has like 3 or 4 pats of butter just slapped on top. And what you do is you take it and you take the lid off and you put foil over it and put it on a cookie tray, and you bake it for an hour. And all that butter melts, and it's really good. So we had put everything in the back of my SUV, and they had not packed the meatloaf in. You know how you get a box, right? You get an empty partial box, whatever, and they pack all your stuff in it, and they hadn't packed that in there. And so when I was unloading the cart, I put the big box in, and it was like literally the only thing that was small that was out of the box. So I stuck it on top, and I thought I had kind of tucked it under the edge because it was one of those boxes that has like an edge like that, and I thought I had tucked it in there. Nice. Well, we got home, and Eli opens the door, and items in the cabinets may have shifted, right? And the meatloaf slides out of the car and lands upside down and bursts open. So now the meatloaf and the mashed potatoes are in the lid, and there's ketchup and butter all over the driveway. And I was like, but do you remember that scene? In Jerry,
and you're like, but I wanted to eat that.
Do you remember the scene in Jerry Maguire where Jerry had just came back and had broken up with his girlfriend, and he was going to go over to what's-her-face's house, and she and the sister, and he was there, and she and the sister are arguing in the kitchen, and she heats up some wings or something, and they were arguing, and they both turned, and she slammed the plate of wings into the other sister's shirt. The disapproving sister was holding the tray and slammed it, and she goes, "Okay, hold on, bend over." She stood up. She goes, "Still edible. Go change your shirt." That's how I was. I was like, "Still edible." Okay, so I grabbed it because it didn't fall out of the thing. It just literally fell upside down and opened. So I took it like this, and I just took it inside, upside down, so I went to the sink, and I'm like, "This is not going to be pretty," and I turned it over, and I was like, "Still edible. Go change your shirt." So now a lot of the ketchup that had been on the meatloaf kind of went into part of the mashed potatoes, and it didn't matter. And I went ahead and baked it because I was like, "Dang it, it's not cheap."
Yeah.
It's like $16, almost $20, something like that, which is less than it would be if you ate out, but it's not cheap.
Not too long ago,
Get down. Hi, naughty dog.
I ordered delivery from.
Get down.
I don't remember, but it's one of those companies that the soda, in order to fit it in, they want to have this big soda, but in order to fit it in a tray, they make the cup like this, right? And the bottom is really small.
Yeah, like these that are small on the bottom.
It's smaller, but this one,
I think
the
Wendy's
top,
is like that, right?
it might have been Wendy's. I don't know, but the top part. No, it wasn't Wendy's.
Panda Express has giant drinks, but they're this big in the bottom. They're like this big. I know that they have one of those problems.
The ones we got from Panda the other day, it wouldn't fit in the cup holder. But one of those cups where this part was this size, but this part up here was like big, right? And
sorry.
Oh, it was Burger King.
Yeah.
Because I got their birthday pie.
Yeah.
I was tricked by the $6 birthday pie meal deal, but they only let you get one. And
What's a birthday
the drink
pie?
They had a special because it was their birthday, and the pie, it was a birthday pie. It tasted like birthday cake, but it was a pie.
That's weird.
But it was good. But anyway, so I had to order other stuff with it, and I said, well, if I'm ordering Beth a large soda, I'm going to get one for myself, even though that thing came with a small one. So when the woman brought it, the tray had two of these impossible to balance drinks in it, and a smaller one. And when she got up to the door, it fit. She had it intact. It was there, and the dog wanted to get out because there was a stranger at the door, and she wanted to sniff them or bark at them. I don't know.
Oh, like DoorDash?
Yeah.
Oh,
well, yeah. Yeah. I got
it delivered. I see. I was picturing the drive-through. So
it was free delivery.
Okay.
And so I started to take the tray from her, and one of those big things just went, because they're too heavy. They're too top heavy. They're ridiculously designed. And it just went everywhere.
Oh, no.
on the front porch.
On the lady, too?
No. And she looked at me like, are you going to get mad? And I said...
Are you going to make me go back for another one?
And I said, that's really sad. And I took it. I said, "I'll say thank you very much. I'll see you." And I said, "Just stick the bag of food out of the puddle, right?" And I went inside and dealt with everything. Brought the food in. I just left it all there because it was a diet soda, and I knew it would just be gone. Mm-hmm. And the next day, I went and looked. No, nothing there. Because they wouldn't bring ants or anything.
Yeah. This morning, Eli goes, "Oh, look at the crime scene of the because you can see the stain of the ketchup." I didn't go out and think about picking up the butter that was there. I just because we went in and I was tired.
You fed the ants.
Yeah, I'm
why
sure.
Not?
Yeah, why not?
So
why not?
I have a sad story.
You're just lucky you didn't have javelinas coming in.
Maybe.
I have a sad story combined with what is to me a funny story. My son's cat, 14 years old, we finally decided that he was suffering and we needed to have him put to sleep. And so later that day, my aunt called me. And
she called me too.
And so she just always asks, how's everybody? How's this person? How's that person?
Oh,
and
Mary Lou or Alice?
Mary Lou.
Oh, Alice called me. Okay.
So other things have been going on here, and Robert was laying right there, and I didn't want to talk about everything else, but I said that about the cat. And she said, "I had a fight with a cat just recently." And I went, "Now, you have to understand the world that my aunts, plural, grew up in. I had one aunt that was visiting our house, and the cat was on the hide-a-bed, and she was hollering, and I went over there, and she was pointing at the cat because it was sitting on the end of the bed. And I walked toward the cat and it ran away. And I said, "That's all you have to do."
Yeah. So I was scared of it.
Right. Now, both of the aunts that I'm going to talk about love dogs, but they are completely unused to cats. My cousin, who lives with one of my aunts, likes cats. Okay? But they don't own a cat. My aunt who lives there owns a dog. But the aunt I was talking to, which is not the one that lives there, was going to go into the bathroom at her house. And she went into the bathroom and there was a cat.
At Aunt Alice's house?
At Aunt Alice's house in the bathroom. And she just kind of was taken aback for a minute. She said, and so I reached down to get the cat to take it outside, right? Because it didn't belong there. And the cat scratched her. And I'm sure there were lots of bad words were said. And then she called my aunt. And my other aunt, tried, and got a broom. I'm like, yeah, big mistake. And so the cat ended up running underneath the bed.
Oh, no.
Because, of course, first thing you need to do is go close all the doors.
Yeah.
And then they called Judy to try to get it, and she says, "That cat's not going to come out of there." And so Judy cleaned up the cat scratch. She's like, "No, you have to really be careful with this." And they're all trying to figure out how to get the cat out of the house, and one of them says, "I'll just go see if the neighbor can help." The neighbor comes over and it's his cat. And so he just walks over and picks up the cat and walks away.
That's funny.
And I said, "How did the cat get in the house?"
Yeah.
And she said, "Well, I think that Alice let the dog out to go to the bathroom and must have just left the door open."
She does. She does leave the door open.
Yeah.
And I said, "That is actually more of a problem than a cat being in the house."
Yeah, you're lucky it was just a cat.
Yeah. They don't have javelinas and stuff like we do, but there are things you don't... Yeah, there are things you don't want to come in the house.
Yeah.
You know, not even just people. Just, yeah. I mean, they're lucky it was just a cat. And also...
And also the dog didn't notice.
Apparently not. But I thought when she said I had a fight with a cat,
Oh my gosh.
I was like, the way
one
she
of those-
tells her stories.
so
And she
funny.
says, why are you laughing?
It's like those, what is it? I can have cheeseburger things where like they have a whole category of not my cat.
Yeah.
Where somebody comes in like, this is not my cat, this is my house. you know?
Yeah, I've seen somewhere somebody's filming a cat sitting, you know, on a real nice on a windowsill or something. The person says, "We don't own a cat."
There's, I don't know if you've heard of this, like people say this, the universe cat distribution system. Have you heard that?
Mm-mm.
Where like people, like a cat will just show up and then that's their cat. You know, they just were like, oh, okay, I guess the cat distribution service finally found me or something like that. I'm sure there's a different name for it, but it's cat distribution. And Hannah sent a picture. She was walking home from wherever, and she said, Ollie, O-L-Y, gave me a side quest on the way home today. And there was this cat, and he had a collar. So that's where she got the name. She goes, I think that's what I read. Was just like walking along the wall near her. And so she stopped to talk to it, and she has a picture of it smelling her coffee or whatever. And so when I first saw the pictures, before I read her texts, I was like, and so I wrote her and I was like, I thought the cat distribution system had finally caught up with you. And she's like, I wish. She wants a cat really bad. But right now is not the time.
Yeah.
Not yet. But no, I was like, aw. I guess that's how, I know that's how, that's what happened with Rachel and Pollux. Pollux just showed up on her doorstep one day. And you and Puck?
Yeah, me and Puck and Moses, my cat Moses.
Yeah.
I called him Moses because I found him in the bushes. A friend of mine in college, he had a cat, I think, or had a cat, I don't know. But he really liked cats. But I think he had a dog, and his mother, his parents were very, uptight and fussy and whatever, and so he knew he couldn't take the cat home. But apparently, the School of Music was kind of right across the way from the Student Union building there at UNM, and so this stray cat, or whatever, had been living outside in the bushes, kind of between, going back and forth between the School of Music and the Student Union building, like that. And so some of the students from the School of Music had been feeding it, buying stuff at the Student Union and giving the cat something to eat. And so he asked me, because your parents are nice, would you be able to take the cat home?
They are?
And I said, well, we have a cat and a dog. We had Cuddles and Phoenix at that time. And I said, I said I can maybe take it home until we can find a home for it. And so so I took it home temporarily, and ended up keeping him.
Yeah, I had a cat named Phoenix before I moved to Phoenix.
Yeah. But Moses. So Moses was like an orange, stripy cat, and there was one time, Moses he wasn't fixed. I didn't know if he was or not, but I found out later he wasn't fixed. But so I would sleep with my window cracked open, and he would, because the screen was kind of bent, he would go out at night, push his way past that bent window, and go out roaming around.
It's back when we used to let our cats out.
Yeah, and then come in, and that was how I ended up with a dead bunny in my room. Mm-hmm. And but also,
so you could have had another cat in your room.
Yes.
Didn't you get another cat?
Yes, yeah. George, I called him George. Didn't know what his name was. The neighbor's cat. Moses had gone out, and one of them, I don't know which one, had killed this little baby bunny out there in the llanos somewhere, and brought it back. And so I was sleeping in my room, and I heard this, you know, and I thought, what the heck is that? And so I woke up, and I realized that George, the neighbor's cat, was up here by on the window, right underneath the windowsill. I had a chest of drawers, and so the neighbor's cat, was there, and Moses was down on the floor across the room, kind of by his food bowls, I guess. And so, you know, I heard this fussing, and I was kind of afraid to turn the light on because I didn't want them to fight. I didn't know what was going on. But finally, I sort of jumped across the room and turned the light on. And then I saw, you know, they were, you know, one of them, Moses, had the dead bunny, and the other cat, I guess, was trying to get it from him. And so in the middle of the night, I'm like, there's a dead rabbit in my room. And so finally, what I ended up doing was I chased the neighbor's cat out the window and closed the window. And then I got like the litter scoop and scooped up this dead bunny and threw it outside. And so the neighbor's cat got the bunny. But
Moses was probably really mad at you.
Well, then there was like little blood drops in my room where we had brought the dead bunny in.
Yeah, I think that's too much.
Yeah. So, yeah.
We have names for all the strays around us, because we have one that kind of lives in our yard, and we call her Creamsicle because she's an orange kitty with white toes, and she's like her face looks like a puma. Like, it's very interesting. She's got really dark eyeliner. It's real pretty. And then there's this big fat gray, like, he's like I don't know what you call him, because it would be like calico coloring, but instead of having calico, we say he, but Mark thinks it's actually a girl. The cat has like patches of gray tabby instead of, kind of like Patches was. Remember Patches was that kind? Like Patches. And we thought that cat comes around not every night, but in the evenings only. So we think, but she is gorgeous, and you can tell it's not a stray. Doesn't wear a collar, but you can just tell, like, clean and fat and happy and very friendly. And he rubs on the. So we named him Amal because he was a night visitor. Amal and the night visitors, and then there's another cat that I don't know if it's a stray or not, but and they're all friendly. It's what's so weird is that Creamsicle and this other cat, it's like a very long-haired gray tabby, kind of like a Maine Coon, but you know that just like fuzz, like long-haired gray tabby cat.
It's a dog,
and we call that cat Gandalf. Naughty dog.
She's stepping on me.
She doesn't have anywhere to put her feet.
I know, except my hip.
Okay, now for you to get down. Get down. I noticed she was here. I guess Eli let her go out. Yeah. And I was like, what? And so I wanted to pet her over here, but she couldn't fit in between the
legs of the chair.
The legs of the chair. That's why she came up in the middle here.
Oh, funny.
So you go. Well, I was gonna say when there was one time when Moses went missing, and Naomi and I were walking around the neighborhood, couldn't find him, and I thought, well, I guess he must have gotten run over or something, you know. And then so that was on Saturday that we went looking for him, and couldn't find him, and then I think Monday or Tuesday, I came home from the university, and I was getting out of the car, and this cat comes sauntering across the road, And I thought, oh, it's Moses. And I thought, no, it's not Moses. That cat's gray. He was filthy from nose to tail. I don't know if he was in under somebody's engine, or if he got trapped in their garage, or what. Because like I said, he was gone like all weekend, and he was filthy. And I think I had to finally
bathe him,
like give him a bath, because he was just oily and smelly,
gross,
like he'd been in oil or gas or something.
We've been talking a long time.
Yes,
and we have a game night tonight too.
Yeah, we have a game night tonight, and I'm actually going back to the yarn shop because I'm going to get my assignment. Because assignment 1 is writing a letter, which I did, to basically like, introduce yourself, why you want to do it, your history of knitting for yourself personally. I was like, I don't know how long I've been knitting. I was trying to pinpoint years. I can't remember.
You started knitting after you learned to crochet, right?
Well, remember, I knew how to crochet in high school, I think. But then in high school or early college, you taught me to knit, and with straight needles, and I couldn't do it. That's what I was saying in my letter. It's like it was tight, angry knitting, and I didn't enjoy it. And so I was like, crochet. And then at some point I started knitting again, and I don't know when that was. But I remember a significant moment was
It had to have been after you got married.
Yeah, oh yeah. I think it was even after I had kids. I was at Joann's, and I saw a free red heart pattern for a sock, and I was like, I want to do that. So dum me, here I go buy metal double points, just, okay, I'm going to do it. And I just followed the pattern exactly, and I think, see, I was trying to remember, because I thought that was before YouTube, but I don't think it was, because I think I watched Stacey Perry's videos to learn how to make a sock while I was making this little tiny sock. She makes them in big yarn in her Learn How to Make a Sock thing. But so I was really confused. But I had that I can't believe I'm knitting or something book, but I don't remember when I was, because that has some basic things. So I think I was trying to teach myself for a while. But I remember that sock is like being kind of transformative, and I was like, I love this. And but then I was kind of doing dabbling. But then in the pandemic's when I really just started, like, I'm going to knit more and figure this all out. So, but anyway, I'm going to go back to the yarn shop and get my materials for my course, because I wrote the letter. Now I have to get materials, and then I'll be ready to start assignment 2, which is the gauge swatches.
There was something I was thinking, because I was thinking about going to the attic. I was wondering if my one pattern had come in yet, and I thought, well, they haven't called me or anything. They were expecting it like this week when I talked to them last week, and but they haven't called me. But there was some for some reason I was thinking about getting something for the attic, because I thought, oh, I can check and see if my patterns come in, and I can't remember now.
Oh well, can't
maybe
go to
next
the attic.
week.
Can't go to the attic unless you have a plan.
I always have a plan.
Thank you so much for joining us again, and we will see you next week. Have a nice week doing your crafts, whatever that is. Let us know. What is it that you do? I know we have some new subscribers, so we'd like to know, are you all cross-stitchers? Does somebody knit out there in the world?
And I'm sorry that I didn't bring any of the pictures of my stuff.
Well, we always put pictures up. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Yes.
Okay, bye.
Bye.